Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, our very own Austin Matcha joins us in studio to talk Indiana women's basketball.
And we'll find out how men's soccer is progressing through the Big Ten tournament. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Michael Tilka.
And I'm Andrew Walker. The Indiana men's golf team finished up their fall schedule this past weekend when they traveled to Maui, Hawaii to take place in the Kaanapali Collegiate Classic. The Hoosiers started the weekend off strong with 3 golfers finishing with scores under 70 through round 1. Senior Brendan Doyle posted the lowest single-round score for Indiana on the season with a score of 66, but would struggle to keep his momentum going into the weekend and would finish tied for 49th.
Indiana as a team would finish 16th on the weekend, shooting a team score of 877. Sophomore Brock Oxenrider and redshirt junior Jake Brown would both shoot a score of 68 in the opening round. Oxenrider would post the lowest individual score on the weekend with a score of 215, which was good enough to tie at 34th. Indiana would also have golfers finish tied for 41st, 94th, and 108th place. Indiana will take 2 months off before they head to Palm Coast, Florida to take part in the Big Ten match play on February 9th and 10th.
The women's basketball team is back on the court at Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall, and women's basketball beat reporter Austin Render is with us in the studio to give us the rundown of their upcoming season. Austin?
Thanks, guys. We got our first look at this year's women's basketball team this past Monday, and Tyra Buss looked like her usual self, scoring 23 points and adding 9 rebounds and 7 steals in their 82-38 win over Gannon. Now Indiana is focused on their first regular season contest Saturday against Arkansas State. There's plenty to be excited about with this Indiana team, with the obvious start being with seniors Tyra Buss and Amanda Cahill. While Cahill struggled from the field Monday night, I expect these two to lead the way throughout most of this season with a large group of unexperienced freshmen below them. Speaking of those freshmen, a few stood out in the exhibition game Monday. Jalen Penn had 12 points and 7 rebounds. Kiana Worthen also had 12 points to go with a 2-for-2 clip from beyond the arc. And Bendu Yaney had a good showing as well, putting out 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. If Indiana is going to continue where they left off a year ago, these freshmen will have to continue this production into the regular season. Coach Moore wants to work on turnovers this week before the season begins, coming off 18 Monday night against Gannon. She also wants to see an improvement in free throw shooting after a 15 of 24 showing Monday night. Moore also made a request to Hoosier Nation that you come out and support this team this year, because they have some special talents and will be a lot of fun to watch throughout the 2017-2018 season.
Would have wished that there were more people in the stands tonight, but Monday nights are kind of a hard night to draw a lot. But I do think this. I think once fans come out and they watch this group play, as they continue to grow and improve and get better, I think there's some exciting pieces out there.
The season officially begins Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock when the Hoosiers welcome Arkansas State to Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall. Andrew and Michael, back to you guys.
Thanks, Austin. That game on Saturday will tip off at 2 p.m. and it'll be Salute to Service Day. You can catch all the action on BTN+.
The women's tennis team traveled to Kalamazoo, Michigan this past weekend to compete in the Bronco Super Challenge hosted by Western Michigan. Indiana women had a strong showing in doubles as they finished with a record of 11-4. The record wasn't as sharp in singles, but they still managed to grab 8 wins. Some Hoosier highlights came from this tournament came from freshman Jelly Bozovic, who won all of her singles matches and picked up a few more wins in doubles. The sophomore doubles team of Pauline Jaron and Emma Love also performed well as they won all 3 of their matches together. This concludes the Hoosiers' fall season, as their next match won't be until January 13th.
The IU men's tennis team was in North Carolina this past weekend for their final fall event at the Wake Forest Invitational. In singles, Antonio Semblin made it all the way to the finals before losing 6-2, 6-4. Andrew Redding lost in the quarterfinals 6-2, 6-1, as well as William Parkesky losing the quarterfinals 6-3, 6-4. In doubles, Bennett Crane and Antonio Semblin lost in the finals 6-0, and Alfonso Salgado and Andrew Redding won the third place match 6-3. Next up for IU will be dual matches on January 15th, where Indiana will play against Ball State and Eastern Illinois.
IU men's soccer is continuing their quest for 9 in the Big Ten tournament. Our Juan Alvarado joins us with an update.
Thanks, guys. The big week continues as IU sets its mind on the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. The Hoosiers remain undefeated following their second overtime victory of the season. IU beat Penn State 1-0 in the quarterfinals, with junior Corey Thomas scoring the golden goal in the 97th minute. Indiana will play Ohio State at 2:30 in the semifinals on Friday. Last time out, the Hoosiers beat the Buckeyes 2-0, with both goals coming from freshman forward Mason Toy. Make sure to go onto our social media to find the full game recap, and also remember we will continue posting content under the hashtag Big Week, both on our personal and IUSTV accounts. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Juan. The Hoosiers semifinal matchup with the Buckeyes will take place in Grand Park in Westfield, Indiana, and will air on the Big Ten Network. Well, Andrew, it seems as though we are in a time that it can only be described as twice as nice.
That's right, Michael. And with fall sports winding down and winter sports starting up, there are plenty of opportunities to catch some Hoosier sports action. Here are the upcoming events to earn your Crimson Guard reward points.
When Hoosier Sports Night continues, we have Austin Matcha in the studio to discuss the upcoming baseball season.
And we will also take a look at how the wrestling team performed at the Clarion Open last weekend. You're watching Hoosier Sports Night.
Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night. Although the World Series may have just wrapped up, IU baseball is only 3 short months away from starting their season in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Here to preview the upcoming 2018 Indiana baseball season is IUSTV baseball beat reporter Austin Matcha. Austin, welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
So, with the recent announcement of the IU baseball schedule, what are some of the games that stood out to you?
Well, to start off the slate, you have to look at the first game. They go down to Myrtle Beach to take on Oklahoma. They got a really good program out there in Norman with the Sooners. They finished last season ranked 24th in RPI. And then you also have to look at the month of May for the Hoosiers. They play a murderer's row of conference opponents mixed in with some great non-conference matchups like Louisville, Kentucky. And in those conference games, they take on teams like Nebraska, Minnesota, and Maryland. And that's just going to be a crucial month for the Hoosiers.
All right. Now, in a bit of a two-parter question, who is Indiana going to miss this season, and who do you expect to fill in those big shoes?
Well, last year's team was really good, so of course they're going to have really good players and especially really good seniors. So you look at a player like Tony Butler, who led off for the Hoosiers last year. He hit like .316. He was just one of the things that made the Hoosiers offense go. So they're obviously going to miss him. Another guy is Craig Dietelo, who tore it up in rookie ball after he went pro this season. He hit like 19 home runs last year, I believe. He was really good for them in the middle of the order. And then you look at Alex Krupa as well, who brought a veteran presence, especially down near the bottom of the lineup. He was a great presence for them as well.
So one of the big issues facing IU baseball last year was the bullpen and how it struggled late in games. Do you see that issue of the bullpen getting resolved this season?
Well, the bullpen was, like you said, they were a huge problem. They were just very inconsistent. And I think that the one thing that you can take from last season is that bullpen got a lot of experience. They pitched in a lot of close games. They've got a lot of that valuable experience. So the one thing that you can hope as a Hoosier fan is that bullpen has gotten that experience. They've learned from it, and they'll come back and be more consistent this season.
Gotcha. Now, looking beyond the regular season and into postseason, last year, Indiana finished with a 1-2 record in the postseason, losing to North Carolina State and then eventually beating Ohio, but then getting knocked out by Kentucky. Do you see Indiana going to a regional once again, or even beyond a regional this postseason?
Well, it'll be really hard to secure an at-large bid, just like it was last season. The Hoosiers are going to have to play good baseball, but there's no reason that they can't. I think that it's very likely that the Hoosiers make the NCAA tournament. I think that if they have a really good season, they could even be hosts. So it wouldn't be a surprise to me to see the Hoosiers playing postseason baseball.
All right, thank you very much, Austin. Be sure to follow Austin Matcha on Twitter and at IUSTV Sports for all your IU baseball updates. The IU wrestling team began their 2017-2018 season last Sunday with a strong showing at the Clarion Open in Clarion, Pennsylvania. Indiana was able to land 3 wrestlers on the 4-man podium, including a second-place finish at 174 pounds by Devin Skatska, and a pair of third-place finishes with Cole Weaver at 141 pounds and Fletcher Miller at 285 pounds. IU also finished in 3rd place as a team behind 2nd place Kent State and 1st place Utah Valley. The Hoosiers won't be competing again until Friday, November 16th, when they head back to Pennsylvania for a duel against the Bloomsburg Huskies. Don't forget to like our page, IUSTV Sports on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at IUSTV Sports. For Andrew Walker, I'm Michael Tilka. We'll see you next week.